Welcome to the Freelance Drive. Here we talk with skilled freelancers about their professional journey. Stay tuned for real life experiences to learn and actionable steps to take to improve your freelancing career. My name is Yuri. I'm a community builder at Code Control and 9am.works. And my guest is Almir Bijedic, an experienced web developer who started his career a decade ago as an electrical engineer doing backend work in the .NET world and journeyed through the entirety of the web universe. So welcome, Almir.
Hi, thanks.
I'm super happy to talk to you. Like, as I told you, I missed you for a long time when we had last conversation, and finally we're having this amazing conversation. So tell me, why did you start your professional life as an electrical engineer?
Yeah, so back then, as you said, a decade ago in Sarajevo, it was like if you want to be a computer scientist, if you want to do programming, then you go to the electrical engineering faculty. They were not really, I mean, there were maybe some options of private schools, but they were usually expensive, had to pay for them. But usually the guys that were doing programming, they were actually electrical engineers. And I mean, it's not like just that I was kind of forced to do something that I didn't like. I also do love anything that has to do electronics. And but also, if you want to do programming, it had to be on this faculty back then, at least. Today there are a lot more options.
Did they teach programming?
Yeah, so there's the bachelor is 3 years. The first year is common for everybody, whether they want to do robotics and automatics or something to do with the energy systems or computer science. But then the second and third year of the computer science degree are dedicated mostly to programming, yes.
How do you feel about robotics?
Yeah, I still up to this day kept it as a hobby. As a matter of fact, I'm sitting here in between some resistors and a solder gun, and so yeah, I like it, but it was never something that interested me more than what I'm doing right now.
Got it. So you have journeyed through the entirety of the web universe. I really love this phrase. And what exactly have you tried doing?
Oh, well, pretty much everything. Like, actually, on my first job, I was thrown into a web project, kind of unplanned, where it was, starting the basics like HTML, CSS, JavaScript. I remember very well my mentor telling me, "Oh, if you want to do JavaScript, it's very easy to use this library. It's called jQuery. Everything's so much simpler. You don't even need to know JavaScript." Uh, and then basically it was just building up on that. I had this like team of freelancers that I was working with. They were mostly doing WordPress stuff. They were
Mhm.
not very technical. So I was the only one that actually understood PHP and to make some plugins and themes. So I started with that. Then later we had clients that required they were doing lead generation. So they had like thousands of requests or whatever. So they needed a server that's not going to be one of those cheap shared hostings that's going to be able to actually serve this. So I started also working with Linux and server setup and Nginx proxies and Varnish in front of it to make it faster and whatever. And also as part of that freelancing group, like we had various clients that wanted different things. And basically, whenever there was something new, I would be the one to jump in. So take like I know an Objective-C iOS app or an Android app or anything related to the web, be it front end, back end, DevOps. Back then, it wasn't even a thing. It was just like doing server stuff.
Ah,
So yeah, I would say basically it was mostly driven by the needs of the group at that time. I would just jump into anything that needed to be done, which made me kind of try a lot of different things.
was it always because you had some task to deal with and some client to work with, or maybe you learned something by yourself just because of curiosity?
Yeah, I mean, those two go kind of hand in hand, like the curiosity to do those projects. But I think there's also a little bit bigger thing that it's not quite a personal thing. Like, so that was more than 10 years ago. I think everybody that started working back then with any kind of web or any kind of programming, it was inevitable to kind of try a lot of things,
Hmm.
different things to get where we are today. Because today it's easy. Like if today there was an Almir coming and wanting to work with the web, I would just say, hey, do TypeScript, do React, do this, that. It's quite, on point. But back then it was just changing all the time. We started with those, the HTML was still generated. I mean, we're kind of going back to it now, having the HTML generated on the server. But the point is that it was changing through the times, and it was kind of necessary if you want to keep up with how the field is evolving. You had to do a lot of different things and try different things.
And when was this moment when you understood, okay, so I'm focused, I'm focusing on it, and I'll be doing exactly this thing?
So time-wise, it was probably some 7 years ago or so, basically when Angular started becoming popular. And I'm I'm not completely sure what made me decide for. I think it was again the evolving of the market, right? It's just like it started shaping up. Okay, the best way to do these single page applications is to do these frameworks. As a matter of fact, even before I started working with SPAs and Angular, I was trying to make an SPA on my own using jQuery, and you could feel the need for something like those frameworks. And then when they arrived, it was becoming quite clear that that's gonna be the way forward for the web. And I mean, picking the web is an easy one because that's what I started with and that's what I like. So yeah.
How do you how do you decide what to learn currently? So the world is changing, new technologies arising. How do you learn in general?
That's a good question. I think different persons operate in different ways when it comes to this. I'm more of the intuitive type of guy. So if I'm following Twitter and I'm following job posts and I'm getting a feeling of what other people are talking about, and then at some point, if I hear about the technology enough times, then I try it on my own, and then I see, okay, these are the benefits, these are the cons of it, and kind of make my own decision. But most often, it's just kind of following the masses. I mean, sometimes it can be wrong. I mean, not necessarily wrong, but maybe not ideal. One example would be I'm not a huge fan of this tailwind movement. I mean, I can work with it efficiently. I know how to do it, but I think there are better solutions out there. But most of the time, just like what's popular, it's going to be the right thing to do.
There are many conversations about AI and GPT-powered tools. So how do you think about connection of programmers, developers, and this AI thing?
So I was thinking a lot about it lately. I was ordering some tickets for the theater, and it's a horrendous website. It's like you cannot even check out. Basically, there's just a form which you
Mhm.
fill in, and then you're waiting for a phone call to see if your ticket is confirmed, and then you have a time when you have to pick it up and buy. Okay, long story short, I was thinking, when is it gonna be the time when, and I was comparing that with the website of the cinema where the UX is quite better but still missing something.
Mhm.
And I was thinking, how long would it be before this is just an automated process because there's not a lot of, things to do there anymore. Not we like no need to reinvent the wheel every time. Like how much time will it be before I can just come and say, hey, I'm a theater owner. I need to sell tickets. This is the company's account. So just make me a website that's going to do that. And then I was also kind of challenging ChatGPT, like in some moments when I was having some real trouble, like let's say more than an hour trying to figure out something that I didn't know how it works. And I tried the ChatGPT, and it was like, in essence, I could say that it was wrong every time, but at the same time, it did give me more clues.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm trying to get at, I think we're still quite off. Like it's gonna take a lot more time, but it's definitely the future that we will be able to do a lot of this just automatized. There won't be necessary to do all of these things manually. But then again, the good thing is always have to be someone who's going to be making and verifying that. So in the distant future, the pool might get smaller, but there will always be some work, right?
Now it always reminded me of some brands that, for example, if you want to have a bag, you can buy a bag, you can go to any shop and buy a bag, any bag, and it's like manufactured on this like automatically, so nobody cares about it. But you can buy a branded bag and it will be like made handmade, and it will be unique, and it will be like
Yeah, but that was the point I was trying to make with the theater and the cinema. Like people need tickets, like they don't need a unique experience. Like some people that need a unique experience. Like just last night I was looking at Kylian Mbappe's like website. Those are like those are some edge cases where people need something very creative and something very unique. Like a personal website of someone. But there's a lot of these business as usual services that can very easily get generalized.
so it's
Also, like,
yeah, go on.
I also believe that there's this, like, if you're having a cinema and you need something unique that's working very differently from other cinemas, it could easily be that there's something wrong in your process to begin with.
Totally. Or you just, VIP cinema and like you want to stand out to them. Yeah, it's always about processes and about like I can't imagine, creating different process for different shops because like you get used to it. You are coming in, you're taking some products, you're going to a cash register, you pay cash or pay by card anyway, and you have these products. Definitely, it may be easier if you just, as this Amazon Go and such shops, that you can just take a product and just went out and it just automatically. So it's like making things easier. But in general, yeah, the process remains the same. You go to the shop, you have product. So I feel like very same here. And tell me, how are the skills you've gained through your journey are helping you in your current work?
So, yeah, as I was mentioning earlier, if there's a new technology, I'm gonna try it out.
Mm-hmm.
And the more, I got at certain point, which happened probably already some time ago, some years ago, when trying a new thing, it's more about like knowing all the previous things helps with understanding the new thing because it's like, oh, okay, so I'm trying this new technology. How does this thing work here compared to the previous one? Or how does this part work here? It's more like fitting in the pieces into some existing buckets that I already know that exist, and then just like putting them, okay, this is that, this is that, this is that. And it's not having to learn all the concepts from scratch. It's also connected to what I said about inevitably having to grow with the field in the last 10 years. We had to try a lot of different things to get where we are. But today, I think if someone is starting out in the web, it would be, I would not necessarily recommend, hey, you need to learn all of these things. That depends on what you want to do. Like also back then, so as you were saying, I started as an electrical engineer. I came from some C++ background, knowing that the languages very deeply. You don't need that, not even close to be working on the web nowadays. So my recommendation would be more, okay, learn some basics of computer science, and then go for the most popular stuff like TypeScript, React.
Is there something you learned that is bad for you right now, that is not helping and you wish you wouldn't learn it?
Minus the nightmares about some of horrendous technologies. No, there's nothing that I would regret spending time on. Like, I mean, it's a little bit complicated. I'm really happy with where I am and knowing all the different things. But if someone wants to get quickly to doing something, especially on the web, they don't need to have these plethora of tools. For me, it was also my own kind of interest, right? Like, if there's something that I don't understand, I'm very curious to understand how it works. But it's not necessarily necessary to succeed as a freelancer these days. For example, so I spent a bunch of time working with PHP some years back. And nowadays, if there's a project that's looking for a PHP developer, I'm usually not going to apply because I haven't worked with it for, I don't know, months or years. I mean, not directly, not on a daily basis. And I'm usually the field where I apply for projects are places where they're looking for people that are really going to get the job done immediately, as opposed to having some learning curves. So I'm always thinking, okay, there must be someone else who's been working with this PHP technology for the past, I don't know, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, and they're probably going to be a little bit faster because they have this thing on a daily basis. So even though I know I can do a lot of these different technologies, that still doesn't mean that I can apply, or at least I don't feel I should apply to all of any project that's using these technologies.
And if you were starting your career right now, would you follow your own advice?
I think this is a very personal kind of thing. It depends on person to person, right? So depending on the goals and where does one want to get? I personally wouldn't change anything in my education history and my path that I took. I'm also a little bit stubborn, so yeah. But I would still I would give others different advice than I would actually do.
Got it. And Almir, I really wish to have the sky as the limit, but time is the limit to our conversation. So the final question: what is your favorite food?
Oh, that's an easy one. Actually, I'm gonna make a pizza right tonight. I was on this mission of making a Napolitan pizza at home, with all the following the original recipe strictly and stuff like that. And right now I have an oven that can go up to the desired temperature. It's here on the balcony, and yeah, it's gonna be happening tonight.
Oh my God, you are so lucky. But yeah, I'm totally also a pizza fan. And do you like creating pizza yourself or ordering it?
Yeah, that's a good, sometimes I feel like eating a Napolitan pizza and I just feel like eating it. So I mean, it's also hard to order a Napolitan pizza because it doesn't really, as soon as it starts getting chilly, it's not good. Most often I like making it myself, but sometimes I don't feel like going through. Also, you need to plan for it at least 8 hours before. because the dough needs to rise. And sometimes I feel like it immediately. So
Got it. Almir, thank you so much for sharing your experience, and it's such a pleasure to hear and learn from you.
thank you so much.
And thank you so much for listening. If you like the show, hit the like button or 5-star and share it with your friends. That's it. We're done. See you in the next episode.